See.
And we are here. We are live. It's Tuesday morning. I did my homework. I hope you did too.
Do you remember your homework assignment?
And we will discuss all of that when we get back right after this. All right, we are here, and we've tried to save the stuff because we talk about a lot of good stuff, like while you guys aren't even listening.
While we're waiting for the intro, while we're waiting for the waffle to cook.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait. Save it for the show.
Good morning, Heather. Thanks for joining us. We're always glad to have our loyal fans.
Oh, there we go, Beth.
And good morning,
Heather
Beth.
beat you today, Beth.
Heather beat
this is
Beth.
a
Beth and
contest.
Heather.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. Our producer said that's wrong. Beth was actually the first commenter. He just put the comments up in reverse order.
This is
So
why
Beth,
we pay him the big bucks.
You're still number one. Not that
Always
Heather's-
number one
not
in
that
our
Heather's
hearts.
not number one. But we have
Number 1A and number 1B.
multiple number ones.
Is that how that works?
Yeah, sure. Number one.
Okay, we'll start with the homework assignment, which Ballard doesn't even remember what we're talking about.
Yep.
Dude, I thought maybe it would come to me too.
And it's
still
not.
hasn't.
It's
I'm
not.
not even close.
Nothing?
Nothing. I got nothing.
You're supposed to watch 8-Bit Christmas.
Oh yeah, nope, didn't do it.
We got to.
It was an Evie homework,
sorry.
easy homework assignment too. We can talk about it.
In
You can
fairness,
figure it
my
out.
college roommate wrote his first book. I received it 2 weeks ago and haven't cracked it open yet
Okay.
either.
Oh, I feel better.
I'm quite
Yeah.
behind on
Oh, I
several
see.
things.
I don't know
so-
what your college roommate's friend's name is, but I mean, are you watching? And you know he's not read
Corey's
it yet.
not watching. Corey is most definitely not watching. He's in Independence. No, he's in.
We're
it doesn't
worldwide.
matter. Liberty,
We
Missouri.
are worldwide. You can watch us from anywhere except
true.
China. I'm pretty sure we're blocked in China.
That's okay.
The Great Firewall has us.
Oh, they're watching.
They're
China's watching. Chinese people are not.
There's some leader in China that's like, oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm
We have
not
our
going to
own-
try to
We have
imitate
our own
that.
CCCP party member assigned. We have an FBI agent assigned. You know. they're
Oh
all
yeah,
watching
we
to
have
watch
we
us.
have a loyal following of
governmental watchdogs
officials.
keeping track of what's going on here.
I wish this was a joke.
Oh gosh.
Me too.
Okay, so Will understood the assignment and watched 8-Bit Christmas.
Yeah, spoil it away. I'll still watch it.
You'll still watch.
I
Yeah.
won't spoil it.
Well, you
There's
can't-
definitely there is.
There's an ending.
There's an ending
that you cannot spoil.
We won't
Yes.
spoil the
yes.
ending.
Yes.
But my initial impression, I think probably the one thing I would like to say about that movie more than anything else, other than it is absolutely enjoyable, laugh out loud, funny,
Yes.
is the dad in that show is an 80s dad.
100%. Yes.
If you were raised by a boomer, if you were a Gen X,
Yeah.
that was probably your dad.
So I'm going to relate.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, I think
you
so.
will. If
I
you
think so.
if you lived through the
make your
'80s,
shins
yeah,
hurt.
my Chinese accent will make your shins hurt. Yeah, it will. It will definitely. I don't know. Nope, not even gonna try it. Anyway,
I really wanted you to switch gears and do a Chinese
No,
version.
no,
You can get away with doing an Irish accent.
you
That's
can.
fair
That's
game.
socially acceptable.
But no.
I know am not going. Yeah.
Fa ra 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 ra.
Although that is. Although my kids did watch that movie and they love that
Shana
part.
turned it on last night. I'm like, no, you can't. It's not Christmas Eve. I saved that one for Christmas Eve, Christmas morning.
My
that
kids
one
love
is
it.
Christmas Day for
Yes.
us.
Okay.
Because it starts Christmas Eve and plays 24 hours on TNT
AMC
or something. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
watch White Christmas
Okay.
on Christmas Eve, and usually, usually like the kids have gone to bed. It's just the wife and I. We're watching White
That's
Christmas.
nice.
It's a nice
Old-
Christmas.
old-timey.
Eve.
Yep.
Yeah, we saved that one. But 8-bit Christmas.
8-bit Christmas.
And I mean my mom watches, so she'll just have to forgive if I whatever. But the concept of your dad just going, go do this menial task.
Yes.
With no explanation, with no grace, no concept of anything else other than just go do a menial task is classic 80s parenting.
Yes.
And for him, in the movie, it's like, go pick up the dog crap.
That's
like, go do it
that's
now.
the task of the movie.
Go do it.
I had to do
Well,
that.
and it's because he's doing all of these menial tasks as well, right?
Or you got to join me in it.
Oh, but it is. Well, and I have some friends who are like from Chicago who watched it, and they're just like, yeah, that's exactly, because I think that's where it's based. It's based in like a suburb of Chicago.
Yeah.
But it is, if you had anything to do with the 80s, you can relate to the movie.
I'm sad I didn't do my homework. It's the
you
first
were
time in my life I'm
cognitive-
genuinely sad I didn't do my homework.
The boy just wants to play video games.
That's all he wants to do.
Parents are always trying to run him out of the house and tell him the video games are bad for him. I'm like,
Yep.
that was I lived
Check.
that. That was it.
Yeah.
It's like all I want to do is
Yeah.
play. It's like you buy me the video games and then tell me I can't play them. Like, what is this?
Yeah. Yes. If you're. Yep.
Never ruin a good story with the facts. I played a lot of video games. My parents were very gracious about letting me play video games. But there was a lot of, you need to get out of the house and go
for
pick
mom
up.
right now.
Right now. You need
She's
to get out.
taking your Christmas gifts
I know,
back right
taking
now.
them back.
She's driving to the mall right now with your Christmas gifts.
Oh my. Well, it's so good.
That
Well,
was an 80s reference right
Yes,
there.
it
by the
was.
way.
It was. Totally was. A great movie. You should totally watch it.
Everybody should
Super
watch
fun.
it.
The only kind of misstep for me in that movie, it wouldn't be a misstep for anybody else.
Okay.
It's because I'm an older Gen Xer.
Yes.
Is my video game that I had to have was not the NES.
Yes,
It
yeah.
was the Atari.
It was the Atari,
2600,
yeah.
I had
because
both.
Actually, my sister got the Nintendo.
Yeah.
I was
Yep.
older than that
Yep.
when the Nintendo
Yep.
came out.
Yeah, I was Atari little kid through, I guess, was I what, 6th grade? I think it was 6th grade when I got the NES.
I got my Atari when I was in 5th grade, which and I'm a couple years older than
Yep.
you, so that lines up. But then,
it's one of my friend messaged me. She's like, I catch the waffle every once in a while, and I watched 8-Bit Christmas, and she's like, it feels like a classic.
yeah, it does.
And it does.
It'll
It's an instant
definitely
classic.
be an every year.
It
type.
feels
It'll-
like a
it'll hit the
classic.
rotation.
We watch it every
Love
year. Yes.
It is now in the rotation. 8-Bit Christmas.
And it hits
good
you in
movie.
all the feels.
It
All
does.
the feels.
If you want to know 80s, it nailed it.
Perfect.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Yeah, and it's got some other feels. No, that was a different movie we were watching. Never mind.
Can I get partial credit if I do my assignment late?
Yes.
Yeah, you
Okay,
can.
all
Oh,
right.
100%. Oh, yeah. 100%.
You can get 90%. You can't get 100%.
That's what I said, partial credit.
Partial credit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Partial.
I just wanted to feel like it was the 80s again.
I haven't heard
didn't do my
that
homework,
phrase.
and I'm asking for partial credit.
I have not heard, can I get partial credit if I do it late? I had a flashback. I'm just like,
right?
whoa.
You're welcome. I'm bringing it all back this
Oh,
morning.
yeah. Yeah.
Good stuff. Great stuff.
Oh, my gosh. I did. I feel I was transported to like 7th grade or something.
Can I borrow your homework?
Oh, my
Meaning,
gosh.
Can I borrow your VHS?
Oh, you guys want to hear the big cheating scandal? It's the 7th grade cheating scandal. You want to hear the story?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Sounds
let me
great.
tell them myself. I was a good student, and I didn't cheat, but I did one time, and so did everybody else. So I want to say this was 7th or 8th grade history class, and remember projectors?
Oh, yeah. Overhead projectors.
So for some weird reason, the history teacher / coach left. He was going to have a
answer key.
sub, and he left the answer key on the projector. Okay. And he was going to be gone for a period of time. Somebody, and I really don't know who, wrote down the
Took a
answers.
picture with their phone. I mean,
No.
wrote down the answers.
Wrote down the answers with a pencil, a number 2 pencil. Remember those? And they still exist. I have to buy 700 every year before Christmas or before school starts. Anyway, so somebody writes down the answers. So the answers are circulating throughout the entire 7th grade class. I mean, everybody's got them. And we have a sub. And the sub was actually an older brother of one of the kids in the grade. Okay,
so
like
the
quite a
chatter
bit
got
older,
around.
quite a bit older. So right before the test is happening, I can't remember who is like, Lauren, do you want the answers? I'm like, no, I'm good.
I
Like,
studied.
do you
I'm
want
good.
the answers? I'm like, yeah, I'll give you the answers. So I write them on my desk. All right. As the test is going, sliding, looking. I was such an idiot. It was terrible.
I wasn't good at cheating.
I was not good at cheating. And here comes the sub, moves my test. There's the answers.
It's on the table.
Off to the principal's office I go. Well, as I get sent to the principal's office, well, maybe he didn't. Maybe he sent me after. I can't remember anyway. Anyway, multiple kids get caught cheating during the stupid regular history test. This wasn't a hard test, by the way.
Lauren, it's long sleeves so you can write them on your arm. It's you don't write it on your desk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you remember the movie Spies Like Us?
Because yeah.
He's reading his, he pulls the tape out. He's got a cast and he pulls it out from the cast. Was that Dan Aykroyd?
Or Chevy Chase, I think, are the two. So, but after the test, though, they're still going to be on the desk, right?
Well, somebody had, like I said, somebody had pulled the film off, written
Right.
them down, put it back, and then it was gone.
Yeah.
And so, this was a day or two before the test. So multiple kids, good students, a lot of us end up in the principal's office. And I get there and I sit down and I just start arguing my case. And I pull one of the filibuster kind of situations
Yeah.
where I'm basically just going to argue the teacher's negligence.
Just talk
I'm gonna
and talk
talk
until they give up.
until the bell rings, and then you won't have time to give me my punishment because I will have talked you out of it.
Yeah.
Bell rang.
And the principal at the time was Dr. Woodhelm, who is a superintendent somewhere around here. And he was one of those principals. The dude was, in my mind, he was 6'8". He was probably like 6'5".
Yeah.
And
He was
very,
probably like 5'9".
You'll see him.
yeah,
You'll see
no,
him someday.
honestly, he is very tall. He is super tall. But he is a very intimidating type guy, but super nice and was a great principal. And I think he was finally just like, you know what, Lauren, we're done. Like, you're not good. I know you're a good student. I understand the temptation. There's multiple students who got in trouble. Just retake the test and get out of my office.
That's practically entrapment, leaving the answers out
Yeah.
in public.
That's
plain
what-
view.
What's a kid supposed to do?
They're
Yeah, I
middle
mean,
schoolers.
yeah.
Anyway, so there were some kids, though, whose parents made them take zeros. And I think my parents were like, if she argued herself out of the hole, that's fine.
Benefit of having a lawyer dad right there. It's like defense won, nothing I can do about it.
But that was a life skill coming out for you. Right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
It truly was. It may
Yeah.
not be the life skill you want. It may not be ideal, but
Yeah.
I did my fair amount of cheating as a student.
Yeah.
And I do look back, and I don't condone it. Thankfully, there's no teenagers,
Yeah.
children watching this show. But I will say that even that was a life skill.
It is.
Now stay
yeah.
with me here, because
yeah.
what it was the determination where I'm not going to not turn in my homework. I'm going to get
Yeah.
it done, even if I had to cheat off somebody's paper.
Yeah.
I will tell you, it prepared me for college when I don't know. Corey, the guy I was talking about,
Yeah.
that wrote the book, it was my sophomore year of college, and he goes, Ballard, just get focused, and you're
Just do
really
it.
intelligent. Just do it.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I guess I could.
Why am I doing it? Yeah.
Sophomore year through senior year of college, I made straight A's.
Yeah.
Went on to get my master's degree, straight A's.
Yeah.
Minus one B that was an 89%, and I'm still mad about that. But anyway, but bottom line was there was a drive
Yeah.
to get stuff done, to get it turned in, even if I didn't do it the right way.
Yeah.
And I was prepared later on when I did do it the correct
Yeah.
way, that to hit the deadlines and to have that. If you don't have that sense of urgency about you, I don't care how intelligent
It causes
you are,
problems. Yeah.
It
you're
is the-
going to struggle.
It is
Yeah.
the Kobayashi Maru situation.
I don't know what that means.
Enlighten us, because I don't either.
Obviously, you're not nerds or Trekkies like I am. So Captain Kirk, the Kobayashi Maru, is something that they all.
I've never been more happy to not know what he was talking
Yeah,
about.
the Kobayashi Maru was a simulation that all of the cadets had to go through in Star Trek. It was an unwinnable scenario.
Oh,
Your ship was going to
okay.
get destroyed.
Gotcha.
And you had to learn how to deal with that. You had to
okay.
learn how to deal with defeat. Kirk reprogrammed the simulation so that he could win.
Oh.
So that's the Kobayashi Maru scenario.
Kirk.
Now,
He cheated, but he ultimately won.
Yeah, exactly. But he was arguing that wasn't really cheating, all that, which would have been my position because my
He
issue.
sounds like an innovator.
He does.
Yeah.
What I did, I got my mom to buy me a programmable calculator back
Yes.
in the day from Radio Shack.
Yep.
Yes.
And this, you could actually write computer programs in BASIC.
Yeah.
And it would run them, and I wrote little games on it, and I had a little Dungeons and Dragons kind of game I programmed on it that would play. but I got to geometry, and I'm not a math guy. I don't do math.
I struggled in geometry
And
bad.
I'm looking at the way geometry works and the proofs, I'm going, that's a computer program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would program my calculator to do the geometry programs for me. And I didn't have to memorize all that stuff and figure it out. I could just go,
You wrote code.
I wrote code to solve the problems
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Surab, great lady, was our teacher. So much fun. If
Disclaimer,
anybody had Surab,
she's a
you'll
peach.
know. She's awesome. She found out I did that. And she goes, okay. If you
Good
can
for
do
her.
That, if you can do
Good
that.
for her. Yeah.
Good for her, because what she identified in you was that you're a problem solver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
Right?
so.
Well, at the end
You
of the day,
use the tools at your disposal to figure it out.
it may not have been the way other math teachers wanted you to learn it.
Yeah.
But you were saying, I got to get to the end result. Doesn't matter how
And
I get there.
I think she internalized at least the concept that in order to write the code, I had to understand the problem.
You had to
Yeah.
understand something,
Yeah.
and you took initiative.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah. But
So she was like, "That's fine. If you
Yeah.
can do that, that's fine." Now,
good,
when
good
I,
on her for recognizing that there
Yeah.
are many ways to get
Kudos.
to the same.
Now, when I had to take Intro to Statistics in college,
Puke.
I did the same thing.
Didn't
But
go
I
over as well.
I didn't. Nobody knows unless you're watching now.
That's
but I
great.
did the same thing.
I
to
was
get
talking
through
about
that
my
math
statistics class the other day, and it did not go well.
Yeah.
In college. I mean, statistics and an upper level econ class, which I still don't even understand what that class was teaching me. I have no idea. Pretty much everybody gets to a point, even smart kids get to a point where they're like, I'm in above
I'm
my
out.
head.
Yeah.
I don't know
I'm
what
out.
and I was explaining this to the kids the other day. I'm like, because Evie brought home a test about fractions, and honestly, Jesse and I were having trouble understanding some of the fraction stuff, and he started talking about a common denominator, and I wanted to leave the room. I'm just like, I don't know, I can't do this right now, because I was pretty good at some algebra. I was not a math student. Anyway, but I figured out how to make A's.
Yeah.
I figured out a way to do it. And in every class that I struggled with, I figured out a way to make an A, except when I got to college. But so I told Evie, I'm like, you can ask for help. Like, if you don't understand something, like, we'll get you a tutor when it's necessary. You can ask for help. And I think so many kids, like, don't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, a lot of them, they'll cheat. Well, my brother's a college professor and has been for years, and the cheating stories will blow your mind. And it's getting even easier and easier to cheat. And I never, after the time I got caught,
Yeah.
I can say I did one other time.
It's also
one other
getting easier
time.
and easier to catch people now too, with like ChatGPT.
Yes.
Like I'm hearing stories of professors going, "I've seen the same paper, 4
Yeah.
times in a row now."
Yeah.
ChatGPT
Yes.
plagiarizes itself.
100%.
Oh, boy, that's
But
dangerous.
They
You
have,
kids out there.
tools now, especially for writing stuff.
Yeah.
They have tools that will
catch it.
catch you.
Well, if Evie needs help, send her to Shelby. She'd love
Well, and I know. I was thinking that. I was like, if she
it's
gets to a
math.
point, it's
Yeah.
math. If she gets to a point, I know somebody who could probably tutor
Yeah,
and would
if
be
it's-
happy to do
When
it.
she gets into high school, my sister has a master's in
Oh
math.
my gosh.
My
Yeah.
some reason in
my
college-
sister is one of the math educators now.
That's
for all
right.
the
That's
elementary
right.
They're on the
Right.
same team.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shelby
Well, and math is
Amy.
one of those things that it can be really fun, but most people struggle with it at some point, right?
Yeah.
You just have very few math
So
whizzes.
Shayna told me yesterday that for the first time in a while, our math scores as a school district went up.
Good.
Which is good. It's a sign that we are actually focusing
that
on
would be
that.
my
and
wife and your sister making it happen.
Making
Making it happen.
They're
That's
what
fixing
they
it
do.
because they recognize that the way we were teaching at that lower level wasn't working, and so they're making
Not for
corrections
everybody.
now. Right.
Yeah, not for everybody. And
Yeah, and
it's really
it
cool.
is different, no joke. I mean,
Our church chapter group, our small group, met Sunday night, and we went early just so that one of our members could sit with Maddox and help her with her algebra too.
yeah.
And I was just like, I was so proud of her. She was driven like, hey, can Megan be there? Can she help me? And I'm like, well, we'll ask, And she was driving the boat. But I love that because
Yeah.
math is not her thing, but she's willing to put in the work.
Well, and that's the deal. And you shouldn't be punished. I mean, you shouldn't be the top of the class, but you shouldn't be punished if you just don't get something and you're trying your absolute best.
Well, you just think differently.
Yeah.
Like, when Shelby, she's talking to me about all this math stuff that she does, and she's like, there's just different ways that people figure out how to get to the right answer in math. And she
Yeah.
asked me how I do it, and I explained to her how I do math in my head, and she's like,
I would never teach that, right?
She's like, that's the weirdest way. Nobody does it like that.
Yeah, that's the way you're wired. It's the way.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't good at the upper level math, but not because I wasn't good at it. It's because it got hard, and I decided I didn't want to work at it.
Yeah,
But I love numbers. If I kind of want to go back now and do algebra 2, and just relearn.
I had a lot of fun in algebra.
I think it would kill it now.
Yeah.
Because I just wasn't motivated to learn it.
Yeah.
But I love numbers, and I love solving for things. So
there's a strain of numbers I like, and then the rest of them I don't. Like the geometry stuff I like. That felt practical to me.
Right.
It's like, I can solve a problem with this.
Yep.
The problems you solve with upper level algebra are not.
I just don't see.
I don't care
Yeah.
about. I don't care about those.
I've never used one of those formulas.
They're not in my world.
It
But
just-
for some reason, to get a public speaking degree at Drury College in the early '90s, you had to take statistical analysis, and so
I had to take it too. So
there I was. In that
Yeah.
one.
I took math for the liberal arts to get my communications
Yes,
degree.
yeah. I actually took Algebra 1 in college and squeaked out a B-.
I kid you not. In college, I was taking 8th grade math. It was hilarious. I was already a pastor at that point, and I was planning my Disciple Now weekend for my teenagers in the back of the classroom.
Bingo.
It's just math. I mean, I had to figure out what I was going to charge them based on,
Yeah.
what T-shirts
That's
were going to
right.
cost
Practical.
and the food
Practical
that
math.
they were. Yeah, it was practical math.
practical math. Oh, before we get too far into this, Will needs to explain the set over here in the corner.
I guess we're gonna,
You guys don't know this, but we've shifted to the right.
which is kind of prophetic.
I did not know what I was doing, but perfectly did right there.
Yeah.
So you guys can't see it, but there is now a new set over in the corner.
It's snazzy
of,
looking,
Plan
too.
417 Studios. And it's for a new show that a friend of mine and I are going to do and host, planning on starting the last Monday in January. So you got some time. My friend's name is Carol Hutchison. No relation.
No relation,
We're
as far as we know.
But sat down and had coffee with Carol a couple weeks ago, and just said, Carol, I don't think you and I have ever voted the same way on anything. And she said, I bet you're right.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
but I've known
Good
Carol.
for you to make that your choice for this conversation.
I've known Carol. Well, we practiced law together. I mean, not partners or anything, but we've been in the Springfield Bar Association together for probably. I've been practicing for 27 years, and she's been at it just a hair longer than I have. And I like her. She likes me. We respect each other. We both understand and trust that we want what's best for everyone.
Yeah.
We just don't agree on
how to get there.
there. And we have a desire to see if we can show the world how to disagree respectfully.
Isn't that fun?
It's
great.
What a novel thought.
I know.
And so we got a little set over there. There's a nice American flag. There are 4 black chairs, 2 with blue trim and 2 with red trim.
Oh, wow.
And some little
I'm
lights.
just now catching that.
Yeah,
Look at that.
and some little lights, all that. We're going to decorate
That's
the
very
walls.
cool.
And we're going to start that. But I think it'll be fun. It'll be called Carol and Will Save the Planet.
Isn't that great? I love it. I'm so excited because here's a crazy thing that used to happen. You used to have friends that had really different opinions than you, and you used to talk about stuff.
Yeah. Well, we're going to do that. And, we've got some ground rules.
Yes,
so we're
which
not
is
gonna-
necessary.
We're not going to
Yeah.
argue by insult.
Yeah.
We're going to always assume the best about each other. We're not going to assume evil motives. Like, you don't hold that position because you're evil in some way. We understand that you hold that position because you honestly believe it's the best for everybody.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to get the heart of that. And I'll be honest, the conversations I've had with her have not changed my mind about anything, but it's given me insight as to why people that think differently than me, why they think that. I still think they're wrong.
Sure.
But I understand why. And I understand it's not this evil motive.
Right.
And I think that's really important that we come to that understanding. And so we do have 4 chairs.
Right.
That means we're going to have guests. And we have, I said to Carol, we have to have an agreement. And part of that agreement is, so if somebody sitting in my red chair is being inappropriate towards you or anybody else, I will stop it. It's my job.
Right.
My job is to
as the
protect
moderator.
you.
Yep.
And being the liberal woman that she is, she said, do you think I can't protect myself? And I said, absolutely not. But here's the deal. I have to have you protect me.
Yeah.
Because I'm the white guy in the room.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not allowed to protect myself.
Yeah.
So I have to have you.
Yeah.
And you know what she said? That's fair.
Yeah.
She gets it.
It is
She gets
fair.
it. And
That's
so
good.
she's going to be great. You're going to love her. She's a lawyer too, which I think is a plus.
Oh, I think it's great that you guys, and I think that's an interesting thing. You're in the same profession with different opinions, and, I don't know this. It used to be very common to have these friendships, and I'm not so sure it is anymore.
No, it's really not, but it needs to be. And
that's great. Listeners, weigh in on this. The over-under's 2 episodes. What do you think?
You think we'll make it 2 episodes?
So you're saying there's a chance.
So you're saying there's
No, I love it. I've been on this kick where my kids will come by like, what are you watching? I'll be watching something on YouTube, but it's I'm not just studying other world religions, but I'm listening to interviews of people who are actually in it. So you study the theology. So I've done all that before, but I'm curious to know how people are actually living it out.
Yeah.
I know what Christianity is. I know what my stream of Christianity is, right? But then I see people live it or not live it, right? And I'm like, so you kind of go from the high up theological thought to the real life practical aspects of it. And so I'm trying to learn, and my kids are like, what are you doing? I'm like, it's just really important for me to listen.
Yes.
So that I can understand, rather than those dumb people, which that's not my thought life, but some people think that way, right? I don't want to have that mindset. I want to learn and understand how they got there and how they're trying to live it out.
Well, Stephen Covey said a lot of smart stuff. And that's an old book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Mm-hmm. But, his first concept in that is seek first to understand and then to be understood. And we spend so much time telling and not listening, that we never make any progress.
Yeah.
So brilliant concept from a guy who,
Well, that's my thing. You can't have a real conversation if I've studied your thought life. And then I start telling you what you think. Yep. And they're like, well,
that's
actually,
the worst.
That's
we
not
call
what I think at all.
that the straw man logical fallacy, which we've got our posters for the
saw
wall
that
talk about logical fallacies.
Thou shalt not commit logical fallacies.
Yep.
I love it.
One of the worst things is doing something for someone else because you think that that's what they want you to do and not really listening to them at all.
Right.
Yep. I mean, that can get you in so much trouble, and we are all guilty of it.
Next
all
on
of
Lauren's
us.
marriage counseling tips.
Yes, yeah.
Thinking the same thing.
And so, I mean, it is.
You didn't want me to dig up the whole garden? I don't know.
Just what I thought you wanted. You said something one time 6 months ago, and I thought that's what I was supposed to do. But no, it is really important to listen to people. And I am in one of these people. I inherently love people. Yeah. I love talking to people and finding out interesting things about their lives. I like trying their food. I like learning about their culture. I love it. If you want to sit down and talk to me, I will be happy to talk to you about anything. And I tell my kids all the time, hang out with everybody. Like if somebody's just a jerk all the time, you don't have to hang out with them. But if, hang out with different types of people. Mm.
Well, and I love what you were saying at the beginning. Like, if you're going to get into this conversation, you know that you're on 2 different ends of a spectrum. To be able to say at the beginning, hey, my goal is that at the end of this conversation, we leave here still friends.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That is so disarming. Yeah. To say, look, my point here is to not to try to change your mind, but I do want to try to understand you, and I'd love it if you tried to understand me.
Yeah, the last thing, and I haven't actually addressed this specifically with Carol. We haven't had this conversation, but we will. And if she's not watching, I don't think she is, but I don't want to win an argument.
Mm-hmm. No.
My goal is not to win an argument, make a point.
Yes.
It's we're wanting to hear and be heard and understand each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think she's coming out the same way.
Yeah.
We're not looking to change minds. We're not looking to win an argument. Yeah. We just think we can talk honestly and maybe not be judged that we're coming from the worst motives, but that we believe what we believe. Yeah. We do what we do because we honestly want the best for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? And I think we can look at it that way, then you can go, well, okay, I need to understand why you think this is best.
Yeah, so if I'm sharing my Christian faith with somebody who doesn't believe what I believe, they don't think what I think, it's really important for me to be able to convey to them, look, don't be offended. I'm not trying to be offensive with anything I say. Mm-hmm. If you could understand what I believe, I love you. I'm not trying to win an argument here. Yeah. I love you enough to say that I think you need to consider this, because under my belief system, that means you're going to be under forever judgment from God, and it would be unloving for me to not tell you what I believe.
Well,
and I think that gets lost sometimes, and I think in part because sometimes Christians do try to win an argument versus try to convey love.
Well, I mean, anybody does with if they're passionate about something, they're going to try to win an argument about it. They're going to try to justify why they believe what they believe. I mean, they're going to.
Yeah, you don't have to. What we really need to understand, probably as Christians and evangelistic Christians, is we don't have to do that.
Right. It's not on us to try to win the argument. We've never been asked by God to win an argument.
That's right.
Yeah. I was reading, this sounds weird, but I was reading about Vikings yesterday, and I'm reading about Vikings, and they were talking about women.
Wonderful evangelists, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have their methods.
We're going back, and we'll get there. And they were talking about a women's role in Viking times, and, some women were, some women had positions after, I think if they were unmarried, after, whatever, in the community, higher standings than traditionally you would think of women during that time frame, because this was like 700s to 1200s was Vikings or something like that. I probably said that wrong, but whatever. So, and then they're like, and then Christianity came along and that all stopped. That's what this article said. Basically just implying, well, Christianity came in and ruined women's hierarchy in the Viking world. Well, and I'm like, what?
Well, and I think to be clear, there's 2 points you have to draw from that. One, there were strains of Christianity that did that.
Oh, 100%. Yes. Yeah.
We're going to change your culture, and you're going to become like our culture.
Yeah.
Which is not the biblical mandate.
No, but biblical Christianity and Jesus's ministry was liberating and elevating for women.
Yeah,
for the time.
Absolutely.
Always was.
Yes. So, I mean, it's just, but this is one of the battles that Christianity is facing right now, is because people read things like that, and it's all of these digs. Everywhere you go, there's digs.
It was
digs,
written
digs.
with the dig in mind. It wasn't written to help you understand history.
No, it was written with a dig in mind, because if it was written to give you knowledge, it would have explained why, not just put a soundbite or blurb out there in the article. And it was just like, this is ridiculous, and it's ridiculous if it would have said it about Muslims, and it's ridiculous it would have said it about Hindu.
Muslims came in and changed some cultures too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ask the Iranian women how they're feeling about
Afghan.
Yeah.
So, have you seen pictures of Afghanistan from the 1940s and 1950s?
I've seen.
It looks like Chicago.
Yeah, that's how Iran used to be too, wasn't it?
It was modern, modern dress, all that, libraries.
Yeah. I don't remember. I had a Middle East history class in college, and I do remember like Iran was very Americanized, if you will.
This jihadi kind of stuff, that's a recent innovation.
Yes.
I mean, not really. I mean, it was that way.
There was always the group. There was always that sect.
But the cultures, they were just as modern as any other culture. And then
Yep.
It's pretty funny. The yuppie
Different.
white college students drinking their Starbucks, talking about free Palestine. It's hard just to.
I'm still seething.
You've got Ilhan Omar. Or Tlaib Rashida has got the Palestinian flag right next to
Congress,
right next to the rainbow flag
in her office. Yeah,
they don't like each other.
That flag. That flag will throw that flag off the roof.
Beheaded. Yeah.
You don't understand. Those are incompatible.
Yeah. That is, and that's what's you can't. This whole
How do you reason with that?
Yeah, how do you just ignore facts? I mean, how do you just ignore them? I don't know. And that's part of the problem why two people can't sit down and have a conversation is they're fed a bunch of soundbite garbage and they don't really look into it.
And we had to have that conversation too, is like we really can't, we have to talk about the way we believe and think. And you almost can't say, well, here's my stack of facts. Right. Because you know what? I got a stack of facts too.
100%.
Humor goes a long way. Has South Park done an episode on that yet?
One or two.
They probably need to.
One or two.
So, trying to say, well, and you almost have to, well, this is a set of facts I believe or I rely on. But that's what I think is going to be the hardest thing about it.
It will be hard.
Is just to say, well, based on the information I have, this is what I think. And I'm like, well, I think your information is wrong.
Right. And that is a tough,
it's tough
part of the discourse today is that how do you trust the information? Who wrote the information? Where did that come from? Where did their numbers come from? Because you can make research, say what you want research to say.
Well, what I've really gotten interested in doing is I'm reading articles on the internet. It's the only place you can read an article now.
Yeah.
If you look at it, there are so many statements made as if they're factual with no attribution, no backup. Like, where does that come from? And it is everywhere.
Yep.
There are assertions made without any backup, and so I think when you read articles, you have to just go, where did this come from?
Yep.
I mean, essentially, it's just that byline. That's where it comes from because there's nothing behind it.
It's just opinion-based reporting, if you will, if it's a news thing. Well, and I was thinking about this the other day while I was driving around. I was like, how would you even cite sources in a paper right now confidently that the information in whatever your source is a fact? I mean, literally, we used to have encyclopedias on a bookshelf in most people's houses, and you could go to that with the idea that was a fact. You could watch the evening news that with the idea, not necessarily that they're all facts, but that reporter has done the legwork and is providing you information that they've tried to assure is accurate.
They were trying to convey facts without bias.
There are
the best they can.
The best they could.
Like if the byline of the person that wrote it has their pronouns in it, I'm not going to trust it.
Just default.
It's already slanted.
It's already slanted.
Yeah,
I mean, we know that because if you dispute the fact that the man is a man and the woman is a woman, then I know you're divorced from reality. Yeah. And I know.
Well, and there's just some really strange things right now that have been elevated to a level of importance that is just ridiculous. Yeah. And I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
We have a bias towards novel ideas. I mean, even one of my sons was writing a paper, and he was told he couldn't cite a source earlier than, I think it was like 98 or something like that.
What?
It's like, old thoughts are out. Yeah. Only new thoughts are in.
It's biblical.
That's crazy.
The younger teach the older.
Yeah, right. It was really bizarre, and
that's strange.
It made me sad a little bit to think that if it hadn't been thought of in the last 20 years, then it's irrelevant.
Yeah,
that's really strange.
Well, it's not uncommon. I mean, I think that's it. I mean, there's such a distrust of anything.
That's why I always say you should read at least 2 dead guys for every living person you read, because dead guys don't change their mind. Right. We have their whole body of work. We can see the projection of their mind changing and kind of where they landed at the end. But they're not changing their mind every 5 years.
But that concept, that's what critical theory teaches, is that we have to deconstruct everything. And maybe it's because there was one fly in the ointment. We got to repaint the whole room, which is wonderful.
You're always painting the room. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, be honest. I love Martin Luther. I love what he did for our religion. I love the way he
he asked all the right questions.
Yeah. Horrible anti-Semite.
Yeah.
Just raging anti-Semite. Terrible. Horrible views. Yeah. Racist views.
But let's keep in mind, he's not our prophet.
No.
He didn't write our scripture.
Right.
He asked some good questions that got the world thinking.
Exactly.
Going the right direction in some thinking.
Modern example. I just quoted Stephen Covey earlier.
Right. You don't agree with everything he...
No, he's Mormon. Yeah. And I don't agree with their theology. But wonderful concepts. And I've said before in a lot of different contexts, if someone discovers truth, they've discovered God. All truth comes from God. All truth is God's truth. It doesn't matter who figured it out. Because Romans 1, it's all on display. Yeah.
And to be clear, Will's not saying that all sacred books are truth. He's saying if something in that is found to be true, it is from God, even if it's been written out of context.
Well put. Thank you for clarifying that.
That's funny.
If it's
Will is not a universalist.
No. Really? Who would think that? Watch some old shows. You'll pick up. I'm not figure that out.
I got you. I had the larger context.
Yeah. If it's true, it doesn't matter who figured it out. The truth comes from God. Anyway. Ooh, good stuff.
That's a show in and of itself.
It is. We're not taking Christmas off. We're going to be back.
We're going to be back the day after Christmas.
We'll
be here.
Maybe there'll be somebody in this.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll get Santa Claus.
Well, he probably has to take the day off.
He's probably resting.
He's like a preacher. He's got to take the day off.
He's probably Monday after Christmas, or the day after Christmas, he's resting. Yeah, for sure. But anyway, Ballard, watch 8-Bit Christmas. All right. You have to. This is my Christmas wish. You've got 2 weeks
to get partial credit.
To get it done. Partial credit. Yes, on the assignment. I'll write it in red ink.
And everybody have a Merry Christmas.
Have a very Merry Christmas.
Got mine done? You got yours done?
No.
Got mine done?
I'm doing pretty good, but not done.
I'm supposed to shop?
Well, no. I don't know. It's up to you.
I can't wait to see what I got my kids on Christmas Day.
Merry Christmas. We'll be back next week with the Morning Waffle.